Keir Starmer is losing control, and he knows it. After storming into power with a landslide victory, Labour was supposed to bring stability and competence back to Britain. Instead, just 9 months in, the cracks are already showing. Voters are turning against Labour in droves, and Starmer's usual tricks, spin, distractions, and empty promises are no longer fooling anyone. Labour's support is collapsing, and the numbers don't lie. Council seats are slipping away, anger is spreading across the country, and opposition parties, despite their own struggles, are picking up momentum. From tax hikes to pension cuts to record illegal migration, Starmer's government has pushed voters too far, and now they're hitting back. But why is this happening so fast? Who is benefiting the most from Labour's dramatic fall? And what does it mean for the next general election? Stay tuned as we break down the story behind Starmer's biggest crisis yet, because one thing is clear: his tricks have stopped working, and the consequences could be devastating. But before we get into it, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Just a quick one to say we have new Labour t-shirts available on our website. You can check the link in the description or go to BritishStand.com. Keir Starmer and Labour thought they had it all figured out. Sweeping into power in 2024 with a commanding majority, they promised stability, competence, and a return to responsible governance. But less than a year later, it's all starting to fall apart. Labour's grip on power is slipping, and the voters are making their anger known. Since July 2024, Labour has suffered a net loss of 35 council seats across the country, with their aggregate vote share crashing by 9.1%. For a party that won by a huge majority, this is a staggering collapse, and it's happening faster than anyone predicted. So, why is the public turning against Keir Starmer? The answer lies in a series of deeply unpopular decisions that have alienated key voting blocs. Labour's decision to strip pensioners of their winter fuel payments has left many elderly voters furious. The party then slapped farmers with punishing death duties, causing outrage in rural Britain. Taxes have been hiked by £40 billion, hammering ordinary workers. And all the while, the government has presided over record small boat crossings, failing to stop illegal migration. These policies have led to a rapid shift in public opinion. The same voters who rejected the Tories after 14 years of chaos are now starting to wonder, is Labour any better? Despite still licking their wounds from a crushing election defeat, the Conservatives have gained 22 seats since the election. Their overall vote share has only risen by a marginal 0.2%, but the first-past-the-post system has worked in their favour. While their national support remains low, their ability to win key local battles is keeping them in the game. Meanwhile, the insurgent Reform UK party, led by Nigel Farage, has seen a net gain of 12 seats. While some commentators have dismissed this as underwhelming, the real story lies in the 9% surge in their vote share, the largest increase of any party. Reform is consistently finishing second and third in tight races across the country, proving they are no longer just a fringe movement. In a recent set of council by-elections, Reform came second in 6 out of 9 contests, third in 2 more, and fourth in just 1. This trend reveals the challenge they face. While they are attracting large numbers of voters, their support is often too spread out to secure outright victories in the first-past-the-post system. Elsewhere, the Liberal Democrats have held steady with 41 seats and a 3% boost in their vote share. The Greens have gained 2 seats, the SNP has lost 1, and 11 independent candidates have secured victories. But while Reform continues to build momentum, the party has also faced internal turmoil. A public feud between Nigel Farage and Rupert Lowe threatened to derail their rise, with Lowe accusing Farage of running Reform like a dictatorship. He described Farage as a messianic figure and questioned whether he had what it takes to turn Reform into a serious party of government. Reform responded swiftly and ruthlessly, removing Lowe from the party and citing allegations of bullying and threats of violence against party chairman Zia Yusuf. The police are now investigating the claims. Lowe denies everything, claiming he was kicked out simply for challenging Farage's leadership. He says he has been given no evidence of the allegations and believes it's a calculated attempt to silence him. The bitter row has played out online, with both men trading insults and accusations. Farage has made it clear Lowe will never be allowed back into the party. Lowe, however, is making a final attempt to mend fences, even inviting Farage to dinner, an offer that has so far been ignored. Despite this very public fallout, Reform's popularity remains strong. The latest poll from Find Out Now puts Reform first with 27% of the vote, up 1 point. Labour has fallen to 24%, down 1, while the Conservatives remain stagnant on 21%. One voter summed up the situation bluntly: no decline in support for Reform despite Lowe's bust-up with Farage. And for the Tories, the misery continues. And then there's Keir Starmer. After months of promising strong leadership, his so-called Falklands moment, a reference to his attempts to assert authority, has failed to move the dial. In fact, if anything, Labour's numbers are heading in the wrong direction. 9 months after their historic victory, Starmer's party is losing support at an alarming rate. The voters who once trusted him to bring stability are now turning against him, just as they did with the Tories before him. His tricks? They've stopped working. And if this trend continues, Labour's time at the top could be much shorter than anyone expected. In other news, former UKIP leader Henry Bolton has launched a fresh attack on the Labour government following shock new statistics, which have shed light on the shocking impact of the winter fuel allowance cut on pensioners. According to new data from NHS England, there were 94,760 more attendances at A&E departments by over 65s this winter in comparison to the previous year. NHS England data also showed there were 2,186,905 attendances at A&E among over 65s between September 2024 and February 2025, following the cut to the winter fuel payments. More than 10 million pensioners have been affected by the scrapping of the £300 benefit, announced by Chancellor Rachel Reeves. Delivering his verdict on the data, Bolton suggested that the government hates everybody and doesn't care about Britons. Bolton has said, "It feels as though the government hates everybody, or it doesn't care about vast swaths of the population. People are already suffering enough financially with their time. There are so many complications. No wonder anxiety and stress is increasing, and you have mental health problems, which costs us more money and more disability benefits." Criticising the current state of Britain's broken health system, Bolton said people now have no choice but to go to A&E to seek help. Bolton explained, "You try and get a doctor's appointment and they'll say ring at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for an emergency appointment. If you get a routine appointment, you're going to be waiting about 8 weeks. If you ring 111 and they go through their checklist, you end up with them saying you should go to A&E. So I think we've just got a broken system and people are going to A&E because they've got no other recourse. That's the problem." Offering some praise to Labour, Bolton applauded the government for their decision to scrap NHS England, but cautioned that the devil is in the detail with the move. Bolton said, "I applaud Labour's move to do away with NHS England and sort of consolidate it. But then again, the devil's in the detail. I don't know exactly what they're planning to do instead. But maybe there's the potential for the right thing there. So I think the answer is not to increase the capacity. The answer is in diagnosing the problem and where it actually lies." Sharing his view on the data, commentator Matthew Torbitt claimed that retention of doctors in Britain is depleting due to the broken social contract in this country. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.